wants to go for a walk. In fact, she just got up and she's like asking me to go on a walk. But I was wondering if any of you resonate with this, where going on a walk feels so exhausting. It's kind of like when you're sedentary and you've been sitting and doing nothing, that the idea of getting up and doing something can feel incredibly exhausting. And so I've been working today and typing and seeing clients, and oh my gosh, I have a super secret project that I can't wait to tell you about. It's really exciting. But it's almost as though my rumpus has grown roots and they've like rooted me to the ground and rooted me to the chair. And I was curious if any of you have ever felt that way, where you know it would be good for you. I know it would be good for my cavapoo, but oh my gosh, it's just so hard to get up and get moving. And I thought that I would share with you one of the explanations of why that could be. And of course, this is, I'm in Arizona right now, and so I'm not dealing with the cold, freezing, negative temperatures that some of you guys are, like in New Jersey and in Michigan, and I have some people in Vancouver, and so it's not that I don't have that, but there's another reason. And Ayurveda actually talks about this. Ayurveda talks about how this could be a sign of imbalance. And so I'm actually doing a really exciting, super cool project with Hadley. And Hadley is an Ayurvedic guru, and she's an Ayurvedic genius. And so she was teaching today about the differences between 3 Ayurvedic doshas. And I'm going to loop this back to why I want to sit on the ground and not take this dog for a walk. She's now bringing me the ball. And so as I'm talking with you, I might be throwing the ball. And so there's a reason why that might be happening, and Ayurveda has an explanation for it. And also, Ayurveda tells you what to do about it so that you can get up off of the chair without extreme torture, leaving you inside the house hiding. Okay, so Ayurveda. Ayurveda will tell you why you don't want to get up. So there are 3 primary imbalances in Ayurveda. These are called doshas. These are the way that your body may be responding to imbalances in your life, imbalances in your nutrition, imbalances in your body, your stress, all of the things. The 3 of them are called Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. I'll describe each of them, and I want you to think about, as you're listening to these descriptions, do any of these sound like you? So number 1, we'll talk about Vata. Vata, when somebody is in a state of Vata with a V, is they have lots of ideas. They're really creative. They're really energized. They're really enthusiastic. They're really gregarious. They're somebody you want to have on your success team because they're going to come up with tons of cool, innovative solutions and creations and things. But when Vata gets really out of balance, they can have so many ideas floating around that they can forget about them. They can become easily distracted. They can start to feel anxious. Vata is comprised of air and ether. And so when the Vata person's out of balance, it's hard to focus. They may even get gas or bloating in their digestive tract. They may find that they're anxious. And so if you feel really anxious and forgetful, if you have ADD or ADHD, you might be in a Vata state. Vata also tends to be a little chilly, and so Vata tends to spike up, especially in the time of year that I'm doing this live, that this is being recorded, is this winter, and it's incredibly cold almost everywhere. And so if it's winter where you are, as you're listening to this, you are at a higher risk of going into a Vata imbalance, and it can make it harder to get up and go do things. And so that's the first one. The second one, if you didn't resonate with Vata, maybe it's one of these other 2. The second one is Pitta. Think of Pitta like a fire pit. Fire pits are hot. Pitta is a mix of heat and fire and passion and anything that is burning. So I have a burning desire, I have power, I have strength, I have heat. These people are going to help motivate a project. So Vata may come up with the ideas, and Pitta's got the passion and the drive to start the journey, to make it happen. But if you're in a Pitta state, you might notice that you have heartburn or red skin or any sort of heat, like headache with throbbing or dry skin, or it's like really hard to cool off, or you may get flashes of heat, right? So pitta, are you in a state of pitta? If you're in a state of pitta, you're probably not going to be sitting on the floor in front of the couch with your dog asking you to go outside. A pitta personality is probably the one who's more likely going to be dragging me. Like Shiva's probably pitta. She's like, let's go play. They have that fire. And then the last is kapha. When you think of kapha, think of mixture of like cold and heavy. We're thinking very earthy, very grounded. Think of mud. Mud is kind of hard to move around. It's hard to lift. Just imagine pushing a wheelbarrow of mud. It's a whole lot harder to push a wheelbarrow of mud versus like air, right? So vata can change really quickly. They're all over the place, but kapha is like an object that's stuck in place. Kapha tends to be cold. They tend to struggle more with weight gain. They may have more yeast. They may feel like more clammy, and exhaustion is a huge part of that. And kapha also gets worse when it's cold outside. And so in the winter, we are all at much higher risk of going into a vata kapha state. And so right now I am kind of in a mix of vata and kapha. I have this object that's no longer in motion, is hard to get in motion. And then I also have all these like creative ideas. So my brain is like rabid squirrel vata mode. Is anyone with me? Rabid squirrel vata brain all over the place. But then you're just exhausted and you feel like you can't get up and you can't move and you can't do anything. So this can make us feel anxious and exhausted. And then maybe we have like a little bit of that vata intrusive thoughts that can make us feel like a little bit wired, right? So if this is you, if you resonate with me, if you've been just like since you finished working today, or if you're still at work, if you find that your animals are like, please take me outside, and you just don't want to get up and go, you're probably in either a vata or a kapha state according to Ayurveda. And so there is a solution, and Ayurveda tells us when we're in a state of imbalance, our minds and bodies are going to crave what will put us more into imbalance. And so if you're in a state of vata where you have like all these ideas and you're squirrely and you're random and you're ADHD, your brain and body are going to crave stimulation, which may actually make you more anxious. And so then you might need to actually slow down and breathe and meditate, or do yoga nidra, or do something that's warm and cuddly and quiet, like if you have a sauna or a bath or something like that. But if you're kapha and your body is like, I want to glue myself to this floor and watch all of the series of Seinfeld on repeat, then that's, your body's going to crave that. And you actually got to resist that. So I'm telling you right now that I'm not going to lean into the kapha, and I'm going to take this dog for a walk. And so if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling like you just want to become a couch potato, I mean, look at this comfy hygge couch that I have behind me. Don't you want to lay in snugs under that blanket? I do, but we got to find balance. And so the kapha makes me want to lay. And so I'm going to choose the yes and. I'm going to go walk my dog, and then maybe I'll have a snugs and a cup of hot tea later. What about you? What are you guys going to do? So this conversation with Hadley is like life-changing. Ayurveda has been around for over 2,000 years. It is amazing. It's tried and true. Google it. Go and do a quiz. Google Ayurvedic dosha quiz. I know it's a lot to spell, but when I save this video, I'll make sure that I spell it out for you. So go and do it and see if there's one that you resonate with. And if you're kapha, move your body. The antidote to kapha is movement. If you're vata, try to slow down and meditate and slow those thoughts. Take a hot bath, light some candles, get warm, get cozy. No screens if you can, like maybe read a book or just meditate or journal. If you're in a state of pitta and you've gotten this long in the video and you're still here, I commend you, because I've been in pitta where you just like dive in for a second and dive out. So if you're still here, you are amazing. This is actually a very anti-pitta activity because you're just sitting and consuming. But if you're in a pitta state, then you want to do something that's going to cool you off. So if it's winter time and you can get outside and go for a relaxing walk, cool your pitta, that's really awesome. Juices, cucumbers, things like that are very cooling for pittas. And then just being aware of the signs of burnout and make sure that you can be very type A. You can be an achiever. You can do cool things, but you have to take care of you first. All right, so as promised, I'm going to go walk my pooch.